AstroPrinciple invites you into a gentle exploration of Daridra Yoga, not as a sentence of fate but as a subtle pattern of energy that can shape how wealth flows or pauses in a chart. When we understand these blockages with honesty and compassion, the chart becomes a map of possibility rather than fear. In this journey, we look at timeless planetary principles that help you recognize where effort, awareness, and alignment can restore movement. Daridra Yoga is identified when the 2nd or 11th house is weakened by malefic influence, or when their lords are afflicted, debilitated, or placed in dusthana houses like the 6th, 8th, or 12th. If the moon is weak and the lagna lord lacks strength, financial instability becomes more pronounced. This yoga shows scarcity not by events alone, but by the weakened capacity to sustain wealth. Aries carries a fiery drive that rarely accepts stagnation. Yet Daridra Yoga can appear when Mars forms strained relationships with Saturn or the Moon, creating moments where resources feel delayed or scattered. AstroPrinciple reminds you that this is not a denial of abundance but a call to refine discipline and emotional steadiness. When Mars pushes too fast, wealth slips through impulsive decisions. When Saturn restricts too tightly, opportunities feel slow to arrive. The key lies in balancing courage with patience, action with reflection. Aries thrives when energy is directed with intention rather than urgency. Daridra Yoga here often dissolves when you learn to pause before committing, to build structures that support long-term growth, and to trust that consistency is a form of power. Your chart teaches that wealth is not only earned through effort but also through the maturity to hold it. When your inner fire steadies, prosperity finds a place to stay. Taurus, guided by Venus, naturally attracts stability. Yet Daridra Yoga can arise when Venus becomes weakened or entangled with malefic influences that disturb your sense of security. AstroPrinciple sees this not as a loss but as a reminder to examine attachments, spending patterns, and emotional comfort zones. When Venus feels unsupported, you may cling to familiar routines even when they limit growth, or invest in comfort rather than expansion. Daridra Yoga here often reflects a deeper lesson about self-worth and the belief that you deserve abundance without fear. Taurus dissolves these blockages through grounded patience, mindful choices, and the willingness to release outdated habits. Wealth flows more freely when you trust your inner value rather than external validation. Your chart teaches that prosperity is not only about accumulation but about cultivating a life that feels rich from within. When your heart aligns with your intentions, material stability naturally follows. Gemini, ruled by Mercury, moves through life with curiosity and adaptability. Yet Daridra Yoga may appear when Mercury becomes clouded by confusion, inconsistency, or strained planetary aspects. AstroPrinciple observes that this yoga often reflects scattered focus or fluctuating priorities rather than true financial limitation. When your mind races faster than your plans, opportunities slip through unnoticed. When communication becomes rushed, agreements lack clarity. Daridra Yoga here invites you to slow the mental pace, refine your decisions, and bring coherence to your ideas. Gemini dissolves blockages through learning, planning, and conscious communication. Wealth grows when thoughts become organized and intentions become steady. Your chart teaches that abundance is not only about cleverness but about follow-through. When your words, actions, and goals align, prosperity responds. The universe supports your adaptability, but it rewards your consistency even more. Cancer, guided by the moon, feels the ebb and flow of life more deeply than any sign. And Daridra Yoga may arise when emotional tides influence financial choices or when lunar weakness creates uncertainty. AstroPrinciple views this yoga as a reflection of inner security rather than outer limitation. When emotions fluctuate, spending may become reactive, or opportunities may be avoided out of fear. When the moon feels burdened, you may hold on to the past instead of embracing new possibilities. Daridra Yoga here invites emotional grounding, intuitive clarity, and the courage to trust your inner rhythm. Cancer dissolves blockages through nurturing routines, mindful decisions, and the willingness to release old patterns that no longer support growth. Your chart teaches that wealth is not only material but also emotional. And when your heart feels safe, abundance flows more naturally. Prosperity grows when you honor your sensitivity as strength rather than vulnerability. Leo, guided by the sun, carries a natural radiance that seeks expression. Yet Daridra Yoga may appear when the sun becomes weakened or overshadowed by restrictive influences. AstroPrinciple sees this not as a loss of wealth, but as a moment where inner confidence and outer responsibility must realign. When the sun dims, decisions may be driven by pride rather than clarity, or generosity may exceed boundaries, creating financial strain. Daridra Yoga here invites you to strengthen your inner authority, refine your leadership, and honor your resources with wisdom. Leo dissolves blockages by grounding ambition in purpose, choosing stability over impulse, and recognizing that true power is steady rather than loud. Your chart teaches that abundance grows when your light is directed, not scattered. When you act from authenticity rather than validation, prosperity responds with warmth and consistency. Virgo, ruled by Mercury, approaches life with precision and care. Yet Daridra Yoga may arise when overthinking, self-criticism, or strained planetary aspects disrupt your natural flow. AstroPrinciple observes that this yoga often reflects internal pressure rather than external limitation. When Mercury becomes burdened, you may worry excessively about outcomes, hesitate to take risks, or become entangled in details that delay progress. Daridra Yoga here invites you to trust your discernment without letting perfectionism block movement. Virgo dissolves financial blockages through clarity, organization, and the willingness to act even when conditions are not flawless. Your chart teaches that abundance grows through steady refinement, not endless correction. When your mind softens and your intentions align with compassion, prosperity finds room to enter. Wealth responds to your ability to balance analysis with intuition, structure with flow, effort with ease. Libra, guided by Venus, seeks harmony in all things. Yet Daridra Yoga may appear when relationships, indecision, or imbalanced exchanges influence financial choices. AstroPrinciple views this yoga as a reminder to examine where you give too much, compromise too quickly, or delay decisions out of fear of conflict. When Venus becomes strained, you may invest in appearances rather than substance or rely on external validation for security. Daridra Yoga here invites you to strengthen boundaries, trust your judgment, and choose balance over pleasing others. Libra dissolves blockages by honoring fairness within, not just around you. Your chart teaches that abundance grows when you value your own needs as much as those of others. When your choices reflect inner alignment rather than external expectations, prosperity flows with grace. Wealth responds to your ability to create harmony that includes your own well-being. Scorpio, ruled by Mars and Pluto, moves through life with depth and intensity. Yet Daridra Yoga may arise when emotional extremes, secrecy, or power struggles influence financial patterns. AstroPrinciple understands this yoga as a reflection of inner transformation rather than material lack. When Mars becomes conflicted or Pluto stirs unresolved fears, you may hold on to resources too tightly or take risks driven by emotion rather than strategy. Daridra Yoga here invites you to release old wounds, trust the process of renewal, and approach wealth with clarity rather than control. Scorpio dissolves blockages through emotional honesty, strategic planning, and the courage to let go of what no longer serves. Your chart teaches that abundance grows when you transform fear into wisdom and intensity into purpose. Prosperity responds when your inner strength becomes a source of stability rather than tension. Sagittarius, guided by Jupiter, carries a spirit of expansion and faith. Yet Daridra Yoga may arise when Jupiter becomes weakened or entangled in restrictive influences that challenge your natural optimism. AstroPrinciple sees this yoga as a reminder to balance enthusiasm with grounded planning. When Jupiter feels strained, you may overestimate opportunities, take risks without preparation, or rely too heavily on luck. Daridra Yoga here invites you to refine your vision, strengthen your foundations, and honor the wisdom that comes from patience. Sagittarius dissolves blockages through mindful exploration, disciplined learning, and the willingness to align dreams with practical steps. Your chart teaches that abundance grows when inspiration meets structure. When your fire is guided rather than scattered, prosperity flows with purpose. Wealth responds to your ability to trust the journey while also respecting the details that support it. Capricorn, ruled by Saturn, approaches life with discipline and endurance. Yet Daridra Yoga may appear when Saturn's lessons feel heavy or when fear of failure restricts movement. AstroPrinciple understands this yoga as a reflection of inner pressure rather than material lack. When Saturn becomes burdened, you may hold yourself to impossible standards, delay progress out of caution, or carry responsibilities that drain your energy. Daridra Yoga here invites you to soften rigidity, trust your long-term vision, and release the belief that struggle is the only path to success. Capricorn dissolves blockages through steady effort, emotional resilience, and the willingness to build slowly but confidently. Your chart teaches that abundance grows through patience, integrity, and the quiet strength of consistency. When you honor your boundaries and allow yourself to rest, prosperity finds space to grow. Wealth responds to your ability to balance ambition with self-care. Aquarius, guided by Saturn, moves through life with innovation and independence. Yet Daridra Yoga may arise when unpredictability, detachment, or unconventional choices disrupt financial stability. AstroPrinciple views this yoga as a reminder to integrate vision with practicality. When Saturn restricts or Uranus destabilizes, you may resist structure, avoid routine, or pursue ideas without grounding them. Daridra Yoga here invites you to honor your originality while also creating systems that support long-term growth. Aquarius dissolves blockages through clarity, discipline, and the willingness to bring your ideas into tangible form. Your chart teaches that abundance grows when innovation is paired with responsibility. When your mind is steady and your actions are consistent, prosperity aligns with your unique path. Wealth responds to your ability to balance freedom with focus, intuition with planning, and individuality with commitment. Pisces, ruled by Jupiter, carries a deep sensitivity to the unseen. Yet Daridra Yoga may arise when emotional overwhelm, idealism, or escapism influences financial choices. AstroPrinciple understands this yoga as a reflection of inner clarity rather than outer limitation. When Neptune clouds judgment or Jupiter expands without direction, you may trust too easily, avoid practical matters, or drift between possibilities without anchoring them. Daridra Yoga here invites grounding, discernment, and the courage to bring dreams into reality. Pisces dissolves blockages through intuitive awareness, emotional balance, and the willingness to set gentle but firm boundaries. Your chart teaches that abundance grows when imagination is supported by structure. When your heart is steady and your vision is clear, prosperity flows with grace. Wealth responds to your ability to honor both your spiritual depth and your earthly responsibilities. AstroPrinciple reminds you that Daridra Yoga is never a final verdict but a moment of awareness, A gentle signal to realign your choices, strengthen your foundations, and trust the wisdom of your chart. When you understand these patterns with clarity rather than fear, you reclaim the power to shape your path. May this exploration guide you towards steadiness, insight, and a deeper connection with the timeless laws and sutras of astrology.